Kevin O'Connell, what's going on?
How we doing, guys?
Good to see you. Things well? You nice and rested and everything?
You could say that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do teams generally win football games when they run just 51 plays? And it really wasn't even a 51. It was kind of a 41 or 42 because you're killing the clock, and then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, for the fantasy football folks out there, I'm sure they wish we had a few more plays. Just, the key number that I look for, PA, is that yards per play number, because when you're at 6.1, you get into your normal 60-plus plays, we're going to be, right around where we want to be offensively in regards to the other offenses in the league. And but yeah, we just, between the early turnover and then the 99-yard drive was awesome, but we didn't take as many plays as you might assume when you're going to travel the full length of the football field like that. So one of those things where, I think the volume of plays sometimes is a powerful thing for us too, being able to keep our defense fresh. That just goes to show you what kind of performance it was for those guys on Sunday.
And winning games, it's imperative. I mean, it obviously matters a ton. But is it even a little more important? Forget the season opener for a second, but to win a game in New Jersey. I mean, got the owners there, you got 100 people on the sideline. Their suite was 2 down for me. I mean, if there was a Wilf to be found around the world, they were in that suite.
I think there might have been about 200 folks on the sideline pregame.
No pressure, right?
And I've gotten to know so many folks in the family just beyond, Mark and Ziggy and Lenny and all the kids. And it's an unbelievable family. They love their team. And I can tell just by leading into the game and then the reaction afterwards that they were very excited to have kind of the local bragging rights amongst their Giant fans, friends that they do have. And it was a beautiful day at MetLife, and our guys had a ton of energy, and that's really how I envisioned last Sunday going.
And you guys put on a heck of a show. Vikings 1-0, Niners, the bill of fare this week. More on that later. You guys just held a National Football League team to 0 touchdowns. How does one prepare for a first game of the season where unpredictability can reign supreme? You got a new coordinator, you got new plays and everything. Is preparing for that first game trickier than most?
Depends on the opponent, depends on the year. I would say that for us as an offense, there was enough unknown that we probably had to carry a little bit more volume than I would have liked, especially in Sam's first start. It was one of those things where they could have played the game multiple ways that would have really impacted the way I called the game, what kind of personnel I would have used, the plays you try to activate. So we needed to have kind of a little bit more tools in the toolbox there than going into a normal game when you know exactly what you're going to get. Hey, week 5, 6, 7, 8, there's 6 weeks of inventory that you can really call upon. But really with Justin Jefferson, we really never see, depending on the downs, those third downs sometimes, you really never see the Justin Jefferson coverage plan, regardless of who our opponents have played.
Right.
So I've learned to just kind of, depending on what sequence of the game plan it is, to kind of go in with, some thoughts in the back of my head that maybe some of the guys don't even know about, Sam may know, but things I'm going to activate based upon what I see on game day, so we don't have, a whole game where Justin, just because of, hey, what's on the sheet, that's what we're running. It's important for everybody to have clarity what we want to do, but at the same time, it's very important to get Justin activated. No greater example than that 44-yard completion when Justin went and got that thing. What a throw.
And speaking of Justin Jefferson, and I'm glad Kevin brought up the 44-yard hit because on that play, the Vikings had 7 blocking what I would call 4.5. I mean, there's I don't know how you even describe an amoeba kind of floating around thinking about Ty Chandler. You just love when I explain things that, don't you? And
I do.
Call it a 3-4 hybrid with floaters. But anyway, so 7 blocking 4.5, and you got 18 on a rookie safety. So how does one get that to work so perfectly? But because Sam never was going anywhere else on that play once he saw a safety guy on 18.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into it. And by the way, we did it no huddle too. So there's got to be limited communication, a system built there where we can activate things like that going fast. try to take advantage of, the situation of the game where, if we let that thing get to third down, we're going to see the best of what the Giants had to offer. But, hey, a 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7, whatever it was, great chance to activate something. We really kind of use hybrid protections where it may look like there's 6, 7 in at the initial snap, and then we can get guys out based upon what declares. We can help some of the critical areas of our protection and then get down the field, because that is a little bit, we call that a ball holder a little bit, where you might not be able to throw that thing on one hitch. Takes a little time to declare, but we want to give Justin the ability to attack the top shelf regardless of who ends up covering him in those situations. And then it's always great to get him in a stack, get him in a bunch, get him a free release, and let him just open up his stride and run, because he just deals with so much coverage, so much press with help over the top. It can be frustrating for him. So we've kind of learned throughout the seasons that I've been here of just little ways we can tinker with, things that we do that maybe could be easy for our guys, but hard on our opponent.
5 for 5 were the Minnesota Vikings inside the red zone. And when I mean 5 for 5, that includes the Giants going 0 for 3 against the Vikings defense. What did you like about just everything red area, red zone related?
Yeah, I think, for the most part, and you can include, Speedy's touchdown happened, I think, just outside what the NFL deems the red area at the 20-yard line. So really I look at that as just another strike. That's kind of the strike zone to me, where if you throw it in from there, it might not go down as a red zone touchdown, but it is in my mind. I just thought we put a huge emphasis, PA. I didn't think we were very good in the red zone last year, not to our standard. Going back to 2022, we scored a lot of touchdowns. We threw a lot of touchdowns in that first year, but what I loved is the first one of the season, and it ends up being an Aaron Jones run where you feel that physicality along our front, Aaron's vision, understanding, body control to make that bounce cut, be one-on-one with the corner and outrun him to the pylon and end up, MetLife leaping into the front row right there.
Everybody's trying to come up with a name for the leap.
Well, I think
Hennepin vault.
I asked him about it, and he said that it was mainly just because he was running so fast. That was the best way to stop, was to just go up instead of try to run face first into that wall. And but yeah, the defense, to pick us up off of the early fumble and force it just to be a 3-point play and allow us to actually come right back and capture the lead in the football game. Mm-hmm. All of those plays, as you know, PA, calling the game, you're basically watching momentum, a tug-of-war for momentum back and forth between two teams, and we were able to capture it right back and then never lose it.
Yeah, we on the Vikings radio network and KFAN, we have Bursich watch for the momentum.
Yeah.
I watch for the max protect against 4.5, and I call the guy an amoeba just to determine whether he wants to get tie or rush. Kevin O'Connell every Tuesday, 9 to noon. It's also part of the X's and O's plan. Vikings beat the Giants. It was really cool. Now, speaking of really cool, and I talked about this yesterday after I watched it back, and I was like, holy cow. Naylor's touchdown. How often have you or had you run something similar with Jalen just fake blocking like it was going to be a run? Yeah, we're going to swing it to 18. Here we go. Cordell Flott's like, yep, you're going to do that. There he goes. I mean, he executed the fake run block so beautifully and seamlessly. Then he took off. Kind of looked like a gotcha. But, have you run plays like that before?
We have. It was the way it was packaged was a little bit unique. What I would say is I know the diehard Viking fans that are tuning in every week to X's and O's have heard me use the term marriage of the run in the past. That was really a layered approach to that, if you think about it. We do have a run that we can hand the ball off to the back with Justin as kind of a run solution, for slot pressure, anything we may see in that moment. We also have a play where we'll just throw it out there and block it up for Justin to get him a touch and get him in space. So really it was a marriage of the run and the pass. It was a marriage of the pass and the pass to really just all I'm trying to do with so many of our plays is really, immerse myself in defensive players' responsibilities within calls and then activate things that puts them in conflict. What is my number one job based upon my reaction to what I'm seeing, and then I try to play off of that to make it, whatever they saw, whatever they react, we're either going to have a safe completion or we're going to have a touchdown in that moment and always have something on the backside. And in this case, Johnny Munn ended up uncovered on the backside. So that just goes to show you just how much attention number 18 gets. And that's the great thing about Justin is if you look back on that play, he sees that ball go up, and he's the first one to throw his hands in the air because he knows his impact is much more than just catches and touchdowns, and he is going to be our bell cow. He is. That's why he's going to be here hopefully a lot longer than I'm here because, I know Vikings fans love him, but I can't imagine not having him in our offense, especially after going through, a sequence of a few more games than I would have liked last year, not having him out there. It just, he's just such a featured guy wherever he is in the huddle, on the sideline, in the formation of the play, our opponents know. They know where he is at all times, and we have to use that to our advantage sometimes, but then there's other times we got to climb the mountain, beat double, triple teams like we did. Really the double team that he did on the 44-yard completion is just kind of a product of a lot of experience now going against all the things that he gets to see.
I thought it was really cool, not only going for it on fourth down like you did. We're here to score touchdowns, not win with field goals on the road. And you close it with a touchdown to Justin.
Yeah.
If Sam waits 0.3 seconds later, Addison's 5 yards open.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, Jordan, you see him break it off. He's like, hey, oh, yeah. Right after that. But Darnold identifying the receiving bell cow off that singled up nice pass. You got to be strong to bring it in. I just thought that sequence was really cool. But
and just on that too, PA, I think fans probably saw Sam. You see the fast arm on that. I mean, that's a pretty darn good young corner covering Justin right there with inside leverage. Justin gets a step on him, and if that ball isn't thrown fast and with a violent arm right there, that ball gets knocked away, and that's a giant stop, and there's that momentum on the other side. So total trust in Sam in the moment. Felt like a 99-yard touchdown drive. It had been a while since the Vikings had done that. I felt like it was about that time, and let's bury the ball in there to our best player for 6 points.
We have breaking news here on X's and O's /9 to noon KFAN. Harrison Phillips just signed a contract extension for a couple of years. Thank you, John Ekstrom. Thank you, Nordo. And thanks to Kevin O'Connell for being here during that time, because Harrison, one of a handful of players defensively coming off the best season of, at least statistically, of their careers last year. Metellus, Bynum, and so on. But Harrison, what led to that extension, and what are you really liking about him as the player?
Yeah, so we've officially agreed to terms. We'll hopefully get that ink on the paper a little bit later on today.
I'll be with him at Hy-Vee later, 4 to 5 if you want, and bring the pen and paper.
Maybe that's the place to do it today. I don't know if I can make it over there, so maybe we'll let you take a copy when you leave here and get that thing signed up. I just got off the phone with Harrison right before I came down to speak with you. And here's what I can say. One of the first free agents we signed when Kwesi and I got here, it was about the potential. He was on a deeper Buffalo line where those guys played in waves, and we saw the potential for a real bell cow player inside. For sure, early on, we wanted to have that presence, that inside presence to stop the run. But he's been so much more than that. He is a foundational piece of our leadership. Teammates voted him a captain this year. He was a man of the year last year. He's made of all the right stuff. He comes to work every day, pushes our entire organization to get better. And he's coming off maybe one of his best performances he's had against the Giants. I mean, I thought PA watching him play, and we really, the biggest thing with Harrison is we asked him to play far too many snaps last year out of necessity, just because of being the impact player that he was, getting him in a little bit more deeper room, along with those edge guys. And now we get the best version of him every single snap. And that's fair to him to not overplay him, because then he gets worn down over the course of the season. We're going to get a great version of Harrison every week. He was unblockable in the run game the other day, had a sack as Daniel Jones tried to transition to take off and scramble. And like I said, just the intelligence, the communication hub along that defensive line, working with the linebackers, the edges. He means so much to Flo and myself in regards to what we're building here and continue to feel very proud of. And I think that led to Harrison want to get something done too. He loves being a Viking. He loves our fans, and wanted to be here long term, and there's nobody more happy about it than me.
The Vikings and Harrison Phillips have agreed to terms
there you go.
On a 2-year deal, because I have no idea what goes into fines, but I'd hate to be on the wrong side of a $50,000 organizational fine because of something I said. Kevin O'Connell each and every Tuesday, 9 to noon, and starts at 11 o'clock. And why so many penalties? Not necessarily in your game, but I added them up from around the league. The 7 last night messed up the bid a little bit, but it was 14.7 on average. Now that's accepted. So you got laundry on the field all over the place, all around the NFL. Well, you got your guy Land Clark though in the New England Cincinnati game was 7. So like he maybe had a flight or something, wanted to get out of there. But like I wouldn't say overly officious, but it was a common thread throughout the league. Did you notice that?
I did. I told the team the night before the game in the hotel that the game on Thursday between the Ravens and the Chiefs and then the Eagles-Packers game, there were 30 accepted penalties, and that's just accepted, and that falls right in line with your 14.7 number for the weekend. And I just said what I wanted our guys to do above the what it takes to win the game, where I go see, through what I think offense, defense, and special teams it's going to take to win the game. I wanted to play as clean of a football game as you possibly can in the opener. I did feel like our guys were ready to play physically. I did feel like we had good execution. Not great. I think there's a lot of things, little things we can clean up and play even better this week. But I really challenged those guys. Let's for sure eliminate the pre-snap penalties where we could. And they're making an emphasis on the tackles. I'm sure Vikings fans noticed it all weekend. Illegal formation, tackle not lined up on the line of scrimmage. That is a point of emphasis. They warned me about it in the 90-minute meeting before the game. They give you kind of a ceremonial warning to get that one out of the way so that they can call it early and often if they see it. So we tried to get to our guys, and luckily we didn't have that called in the game. You get a lot of the pre-snap things up against the clock sometimes, and there's always seems to be on the road a little bit more communication problems with the headsets than at home. I don't know why that is. But for the most part, I didn't like our penalty number, and we'll clean that up. But, we definitely did enough from a clean execution standpoint to give ourselves a good chance to win the game.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said, because coaches are, unless you win the Super Bowl, which you would know, you're incapable of smelling the roses 10 of 10 happiness. And even after winning the Super Bowl, you probably give yourself a week, and then you got to start looking at free agents and the draft and the combine and the East-West and the whole thing. But it's you mentioned some things offensively, and I'm certainly not taking a shot at the squad or anything, but whether it was Jones being off target or them dropping some passes, it's you win. It's I don't want to say coach's dream, but it's kind of a perfect situation. Crushed them, didn't give up a touchdown, scored 3 in like 42 real plays. However, guys, look at this.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of a perfect storm?
It is, and the way I look at it is there's always something that could have continued throughout the game from a standpoint of execution, from the standpoint of adjustments being made as a coaching staff, and then how are we communicating those things to our players so that we can go out in real time and have success. There were great examples of that on both sides of the ball. There were some other times where I thought we could have been better with that. So it's players, it's coaches, it's our entire production on game day, making sure that we're doing the things we need to do to continue to chase becoming the best version of ourselves as a football team. And I'll tell you what, PA, we're going to get a chance to really test that here the next few weeks, starting with this week. Heck of a football team coming to U.S. Bank Stadium.
Yeah, they looked good last night, even with the backup tailback. But nevertheless, is when a team plays on Monday Night Football, then travels.
Yep.
Okay, so the narrative generally is, all right, well, they have a one fewer day to get ready and they got to travel. Well, what about the team that has one fewer day to get into that film?
Yep.
So like does that impact the preparation that you got to wait for the game to be over? Maybe you started like last night.
Yeah, so, what I did is I basically, what we had built previously leading into yesterday, I had that's what I was watching in real time, but I also had the game on in real time. It's always a unique thing when the team you're playing and you've already started your preparation, they're on the television playing a live football game. You tend to be able to, I found myself seeing something, on the TV copy of the game happening live, and then going and checking, hey, let me see that formation. Let me see that personnel grouping. Hey, what D&D was it? What can I pull out of that in real time to help me not have to manage the whole load of a game day preparation starting today. So we got off to a good start last night. But, yeah, it works both ways
right,
as far as the preparation goes, because no matter what, we're all going to have Wednesday as the start of our preparation. It just so happens our players were off today. Their players are off today, but they played a football game last night. We have 24 hours really extra, really more than that, for our guys to turn over physically, because we're going to need to be ready to go physically more than anything against this outfit. Kyle's team is as physical as they come.
Oh, we requested a fan question for you earlier from our texting at KFAN, and Cato Plumber Guy from down Mankato way, Cato Plumber Guy. Is it a bonus that Sam Darnold threw against San Francisco's defense as a scout team player last year?
It's a good question, and I absolutely think it has potential to be. I know that Sam, will admit it was a really impactful year for him, being in that organization around great coaching, around great players. But there's no doubt that his impact of just being a part of the everyday systems in San Francisco, the high-quality systems that they are, will hopefully benefit Sam this week as he prepares for one of the best defenses in the league. And it's not just Sam. It's our whole entire football team having a great week of preparation and giving ourselves the opportunity to go into U.S. Bank Stadium at noon on Sunday and go compete like crazy.
You in beating them last year, you missed Deebo Samuel during the victory. And the reason I bring it up is because I just know you greatly respect his game.
Yeah, he's as good as there is in our league with the ball in his hands. He's you really have to have a mindset showing up to the stadium when you're playing a guy like Deebo, how you're going to tackle, how many guys you can get to the ball. When they just try to get it to him in space, they hand it off to him. They throw him the ball on the perimeter. He's heavily involved in their pass game. But every time he touches it, if you aren't willing to commit fully to getting Deebo Samuel on the ground, he can take it the distance. I've played him a couple times a year when I was in L.A., and we just always felt like those plays just took the absolute wind out of your sails when it's such a simple play for them, and it turns into a monumental, explosive, memorable play in the game that really changes the tide of the whole momentum.
In what, Kevin O'Connell, time for a couple more, in what ways are your offense and the 49ers offense similar?
Well, I think they do a really good job of running the football and then marrying those with plays that put defenders in conflict. And it's not just your standard historical wide zone plays. It's not just the misdirection gap kind of runs that they have. They really have the ability to make a lot of players on your defense feel stressed. Not only pre-snap but post-snap. They, like us, they motion a lot. They move a lot of players. They will try to do things with their motions and shifts to set your defensive front accordingly to try to get the best possible angles and leverage for the blocking schemes, but then also put stress on your coverages. And they've got, you talk about Deebo, they've got Ayuk back getting his legs underneath him. I'm sure he's going to have a major role in the game plan, and we'll expect to see Christian McCaffrey as well. So you're talking about three really impactful players, and we haven't even said the word Kittle yet.
Right.
As in regards to their just weaponry that they have offensively, and I think Kyle does an unbelievable job activating all those guys, all in their own roles and their own skill sets, but it all seems to fit.
Yep.
And that's what true mastery is as a offensive play caller and designers. You're trying to use all of your pieces, but not ever stretch yourself outside the framework of who you want to be from a system standpoint, and that's what Kyle does such a great job of.
And another name is Juwan Jennings.
No doubt.
I mean, he's just out there mashing on people in the run game, right? One of the better run-blocking wide receivers in the game.
I've always, thought very fondly of Juwan just because you watch him play and he does all the little things that an offense like that really needs, much like some of the things we have Sherfield and Brandon Powell do for us, the physicality, the willingness to block, not only defensive backs but linebackers sometimes. But how about when Deebo goes down in the playoffs last year and Jennings just steps in and he's running those routes on third downs, going over the middle, making catches away from his frame.
Yeah.
Big time plays, made a few plays last night too. I think he is kind of one of those guys that maybe doesn't get the headlines of some of the other players they have, but can make a tremendous impact on the game, playing his role within that offense.
And he also, I believe it was him, also a wonderful passer too, as you noticed in the Super Bowl when they stole your, when when they threw it across the field like you did to Addison in Monday Night Football. Yeah. All right, time for one more with Kevin O'Connell. Last one here. Reichard's unbelievably good. I mean, he hit the landing zone and made it by like 6 inches. Van Ginkel. All right? So the pick six, and of course you've seen this 1,000 times, the pick six from Sam Howell last year. What fascinates me with what he did was he looked to the left on your play, all right, to get the guy, like, What are we doing over here? And when he was with Miami against Washington, he did the same thing. So, I mean, it's like Antoine Winfield, when Antoine was here, when it comes to play diagnosing and the takes and the tells and the talkers, I've just never come across anybody greater in my life as a defensive player. So to say somebody is Winfield-esque, that's glowing praise, but that's Winfield-esque doing stuff like that.
I can remember you asking me in this very chair last week about him and why him and what's he going to mean to our defense. And if I could have just said, just wait till Sunday and everything will articulate itself right before our very eyes, I would have done that. I expected him to do that. I actually told him about a month ago, at what point in time do you score a touchdown this year? I just, I need to know because it'll help me prepare to call the game offensively to know you're going to give me 7 points. And he told me early. He didn't say that early, but he told me early. What you're talking about is not just diagnosing plays. It's anticipating based upon the picture before you. Where are the offensive formation threatening you? We line up on offense a certain way to run certain plays, and there's a catalog of about 1,000 in his head, and he's just trying to eliminate. Hey, it looks like this has got a great chance to be a bubble screen or be a receiver screen throw out there. So if I feel this tackle set me and start to go block somebody, or if I feel that quarterback catch the ball and rise up to get the ball out of his hands, there's only so many things that I'm responsible for on this play.
Wow.
So I'm going to go wreck the play, and I'm going to catch it. And how about just the hand-eye coordination to really stop the football one-handed and then collect it with his other hand and have that easy stride into the end zone where most of our defensive staff went and joined him to go celebrate. So it was a big-time moment in the game, super impactful, and very, very fortunate we have Andrew Van Ginkel.
You're awesome, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Congratulations on the win. See you this weekend. Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. This is 9 to Noon.